welcome back for another video. Let's talk about the string size for your guitar. Should you go to a smaller gauge string or a larger gauge string, and some of the problems that comes along with it should you choose that you want to change the string size. Let's dig into it. I remember back on my first guitar, having just barely learned how to tune it, decided to put new strings on one day, and I gotta say, I was told from a friend of mine, "Oh, just cut them all off of there and start fresh, that way you can clean your guitar up." Made sense to me. I had no clue, so here we go. Cut all those strings off, and we like to never got the neck on that inexpensive guitar adjusted back to where it was even playable. So be careful. One string at a time is always your best bet, okay? Now, some of the adjustments you may have to make to your guitar if you're changing the size of string that is currently on it is you may have to adjust the saddle for intonation. You may have to adjust the neck tension rod to get your neck straight or relax it again. And you may have to adjust the nut where your string slides through. Dropping to a smaller diameter, you're probably not going to have too much problem here, but if you're going to a larger diameter, you may have to file this out. It does get complicated. Do it one string at a time. There's a lot of tension on these guitars when they're stringed and tuned to pitch for you. If you don't know how to adjust your intonation as well as adjust the neck on your guitar, and you still want a different gauge of string put on your guitar, take it back to the music store or someone you know who can do that type of work and have them do it for you, because you are changing a lot. A lot of the way a guitar plays for you is simply due to string size, and it's going to affect the way it plays, sounds, and tunes. There's some guitars that you can swap string size on and not having a problem whatsoever. But in this situation, again, if I go to a smaller string, I may have to dial the action back into the guitar itself. Now, if you go to a larger diameter string, the first thing you're going to experience is, now on this SG, this is a bone nut here, and if I put a larger diameter string on here, the string's not going to want to fit down into the groove like it should. Now I have two choices there. I can take and work the string back and forth so it will settle down into where it needs to go, or you may have to file the nut out of this. And once you do that, there's no going back. You can try adding epoxies and different things like that, but it may not give you the result you're looking for, okay? So once you put a smaller diameter string back in there, it very well could cause a problem of the string not staying in the nut when you're strumming, playing hard. I mean, again, it's an issue. And this being a bone nut, I don't want to have that problem. I don't want to have this thing swapped out if I don't need to. That's not a job I'd be qualified to do. I would definitely take it to a guitar shop then and have that done. Sounds good. Changing the size of your string can do several things for you. It's going to definitely change your tone. The amount of pick attack, if you're going to a larger diameter string, you can play a little bit harder without fear of breaking them. If you're going to a smaller diameter string, you can play easier. It's easier on your fingers. Bends is easier to find, and they are easier to break. So if you're moving from a set of 10s, for instance, down to a set of 8s, you're going to have to play a little easier, okay? One simple solution may be a thinner or thicker pick. Thinner pick is going to give you a quicker pick attack. You're probably not going to break as many strings if you use a thinner pick. And if you're dropping down from, for instance, size 10mm strings to 8s, definitely want to get a thinner pick until you get used to the way the guitar is going to play and the strings respond to what pick you are using. But that will give you a place to start before you actually change the diameter of the string is maybe simply trying a different pick. Now this is a 60 millimeter, and I really have to choke up on that pick in order to get that chunk out of there. Let me walk up here and show you where I'm holding that. If we can get the camera to focus, that is very little between the index finger and thumb. Now if I'm going to really get into a heavy pick attack, then I scoot my fingers back to where this pick can flex. And that's a good point. If you look at this, and we can see bending this back and forth, I mean the camera's picking that up pretty decent. Now this is a 1 millimeter pick. This is about 40% thicker. And if you notice, I can barely move that thing. Okay? So again, this is going to give me a heavier tone because it's not flexing on the strings. Let's try this 60 millimeter again, or 0.060. Okay, so I didn't change the diameter of the string, just simply the pick, and had two different tones there. This thicker pick here was bassier, I think. I'm not sure the camera's going to pick that up 100% for you, but the way it sounds to me in here, it definitely had a little more low end to it. If you're going up to a larger diameter, you can typically get more good chunky bass out of them. If you're going to a smaller size, again, these are 10s. If you're going to drop down to 9s or 8s, a smaller diameter string does not necessarily mean you're going to get less bass response. A lot of times, because you'll start playing easier and get more clarity, you can tighten up a tone. And it does work. I mean, because again, once you've gotten used to the smaller string size, you start playing a little easier, at least I do. And it can make a difference. I mean, if that's the tone you're looking for, then by all means, change them out and try it. So if we tune to 440 on the E string, if my intonation's right, I can come here to the 12th string and hold that down, and my tuner should be at 440. Now if your intonation's out, when you hit this open string, if you come up here and either fret or hit an harmonic here, and you're less or higher than 440, that's at your saddle or the bend in your neck. So again, when you start changing around the diameter of the strings, your guitar is going to change. And it may be the change that you're looking for. I'm not saying this is overly complicated, and yes, you can do this. But if you're not familiar with setting your intonation, because really a strobe tuner would be better for that situation. A strobe tuner is a lot more accurate than the standard tuners we use typically to tune up. So I will say most of your guitar shops, music stores, will set a guitar up for you. Take it to them and have them put strings on for you and have them set up the guitar for that particular size string. Experiment a little bit before you truly get into swapping your strings out. Again, it's going to change the way the neck is. It's going to change the way your saddle is, the nut, as well as the height from your pickups. If you go to a larger diameter string, they're going to be closer to the pickups, and these things are heavy duty magnets in here. So when you've got your action set down really low, you may not realize it, but the string is constantly trying to pull itself down to this magnet, okay? So if you go to a larger diameter, now you're closer to the magnet, and it very well could affect the way it sounds in tone, or even in tuning. Well, there we have it, guys. Again, if you're looking to change the size of the string that you have in your guitar, a few things that I have pointed out for you that may help. And again, if it's all about tone, try it. You never know. I mean, it absolutely does change the tone of your guitar, right? So again, now if it's something that you're not familiar with all the adjustments that goes along with it, It's simple to run that thing down to the music store and let somebody who is trained to do it for you. It's probably inexpensive too, and hopefully less than 50 bucks for you, okay? And you're going to be more happy with it, again, if this is not something that you're used to doing, all right? So thanks, keep on rocking out there. I've been watching some of you guys on YouTube, and wow. I'll see you on the next one.